One is with the rabbi talking about Tucker Carlson. Let's fucking do it.
If you believe in the Bible, then you have to believe that there will be peace. The temple is not a cause for another war. Get your facts right and think twice. And then you can be of service to the world. Then you can be a real influencer. How does it happen that you have a logical and functional, intelligent mind, and yet you're crazy? Your ideas. It works something like this. Every logical system is based on an assumption, on an axiom. We don't start with zero. It starts with an assumption. Like, for example, we're looking for the cure for cancer. Based on what? There is no cure for cancer, but we're looking for it. What justifies that? There is no cure, so what are you going to find? It's based on the assumption that everything is curable. That's based on the assumption that life is meant to be lived, and that every disturbance in life is unnatural and can be cured. What do we base that on? It's an assumption. It's a principle. Now we use our logic to pursue that assumption. All of Einstein's theories were based on an assumption that God doesn't play dice with the universe, and that things that happen in nature have to have a reason, a system, a pattern, a cause and an effect, because it can't be random. Theoretically, it might turn out that that assumption is wrong. It might turn out, I hope not, but it might turn out that there is no cure for every disease, because there's no knowable cause, and therefore there's no knowable treatment, and therefore there's no knowable cure. No, not everything is meant to be cured. Maybe life is not meant to be healthy. Of course, that sounds crazy to us, because we work under the assumption that life is supposed to be livable, which is a good assumption. But again, hypothetically, it could turn out that we're wrong. Could turn out that the universe doesn't have any rules, doesn't follow any patterns, things happen. And that we just have to surrender to the chaos of it. Logical thinking means that you have a logical sequence of ideas that
You do just got to love how rabbis talk slow and sort of with so much wisdom behind their words, and they pause in between to really know they're thinking about their thoughts. It's very rabbi-esque. But, Tucker Carlson, again, I've said this before, is too smart. This is who he's talking about at some point. He's going to debunk some of the things that Tucker Carlson is saying. At least I hope so, especially about Chabad and the temple and all those types of things. But Tucker Carlson is too smart to just blatantly outright lie, which he has actually been doing a lot more recently. But for the most part, he does just tell a half truth or a fabrication of a truth, or he makes this full blown assumption from the smallest piece of evidence. But now recently, he has just been straight up lying. And people still 100% believe him, which is the wild part about today's media landscape. So anyways, let's continue with our rabbi.
validate your assumption, that validate your starting principle.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it.
Yeah.
Meet Base 44.
Yeah. There we go. Get out of here.
What is the starting principle of all religion? The starting principle of all religion is that the Bible is true. That God made his will known somewhere, someplace, somehow. We can argue about where it happened, when it happened, with whom it happened. But without that assumption, there is no religion at all. There's just philosophy. Religion means revelation where God made it known what his plan is through the prophets, the Bible. So any believer, anyone who calls himself religious, is starting with an assumption. The assumption is the words of the Bible are true.
Makes sense.
Logic now follows to try to present the facts or the results of that principle. So, for example, no matter how bad people are, the Bible says that eventually it'll all become good. Eventually, a Jewish Messiah will come and make the world what it's meant to be. So evil is temporary and God's will prevail. That's the assumption we start off with. Now we have to use our intelligence and our logic to show where, how, maybe even when all of this is going to happen or is happening. So if you believe in the Messiah, who is a Jew, one of the things that's going to happen when he comes is that all the prophecies of the Bible will be fulfilled. One of the prophecies is that God chose Jerusalem as his center, as his home, and gave us really specific, detailed instructions on how to build a place for the Ten Commandments, the tablets of the Ten Commandments, in the Holy Ark, where they are to be housed in a place in Jerusalem. One of the strong and important principles in that prophecy is that in the final results, after the dust settles, there will be a home for God and there will be a place for the ark in a holy temple. But that has to come about through peaceful means. King Solomon built the first temple, not King David. Although it was King David, his father, who wanted to build it, who planned it, who envisioned it, but he couldn't actually build a temple because he had been involved in wars. And so it was King Solomon, who never engaged in war, he could build the temple. Babylonians came along and destroyed the first temple. And Jews were exiled to 127 countries under the rulership of King Ahasuerus in the book of Esther. 70 years later, the Persian king or emperor encouraged the construction of the second temple. There was no war involved. It was a peaceful decision on the part of the ruler at the time who encouraged that Jews go back and build the second temple. 400 some years later, the Romans destroyed the second temple. Now the prophecy is that in the end of days, Mashiach will come and he will build the third temple, obviously through peaceful means. So yes, we are very excited about the coming of Mashiach, as every believer is. And that means that the temple will be rebuilt and the ark will find its home, will come back to its home. But don't forget this little detail. It has to happen in peaceful means. So this war with Iran is not about building a temple. It's self-defense. And
Dude, Rabbi, but Tucker said, Tucker, the all-knowing paragon of value, Tucker Carlson, the paragon of virtue, the man who is a Christian and he values the Bible and other human beings, said that that's what this war was about. It was from Chabad and it was about the temple. Man, Tucker Carlson, no more lies and more getting more debunked over time on the internet, but still he's going to speak with conviction. Tucker Carlson, he's going to speak with confidence. I mean, I guess I respect that about him. No matter what he says it with sincerity, like he believes it. But again, he's wrong. Here we go. Thanks, Rabbi. Let's continue.
It's ironic that we would be at war with Iran because it was Iranian king who encouraged the building of the second temple. Who knows? Maybe the new ruler in Iran will encourage the building of the third temple. But one thing is for sure, the building of the temple does not come through war. It comes only through peaceful means. And if there's a conflict because there's a mosque on the site where the temple should be, that has to be resolved peacefully, or it is not a holy temple. So think twice.
I tried everything: coffee, Pomodoro, and binaural beats, but nothing stuck.
So back to the rabbi. Let's go.
Always be conscious of the fact that the logic could be wrong. It's possible that your assumption is correct and your logic is faulty. Like when you so desperately want to prove something right that you'll go for any argument, for any kind of proof that isn't logical at all.
Yeah, that kind of is basically what these these Tuckers, these Candaces, these Cenk Uygurs, these Anna Kasparians are so desperate to hate Israel and Jews because of their deep obsession with it that they'll take anything, no matter what. They'll share images from 2 years ago or share images from 2014 or 2024. They'll share this, they'll share that. They'll say they know exact numbers, but I don't know exact numbers here, but I know exact numbers there, because they're so desperate for their assumptions to be right that I think the logical thinking has left their brain. And that makes sense to me. So, yeah.
But you have an agenda to prove your assumption right. Could also be that your logic is perfect. The assumption was wrong. So we can never be so dogmatic as to think that we are right both on the assumption and in the logic. A little humility keeps us objective. Arrogance destroys objectivity. The assumption that the Word of God is true, this is a universal assumption. It's a safe bet. There is truth to the world. There is a purpose to existence, and the Creator knows what He's doing. It's a very good assumption. Now, carefully use your intelligence, use your logic to demonstrate, to show proof, to explain how this happens, to show where it's happening. Bring it down to earth. Assumptions are heavenly. Bring your assumption down to earth. If you really are convinced that there is a cure to every disease, well, then find the cure for cancer.
I wish we would.
Do it logically.
I wish we would.
So Tucker Carlson is very logical. His assumptions are flawed. If you believe in the Bible, if you believe in the Jewish Messiah, then you have to.
He said it in a nice way. Tucker Carlson is logical. I don't know. He is calculated. I'll say that. I don't know if he's logical. Obviously his assumptions are wrong. His facts are wrong. His intel is wrong. I don't even know if it's wrong. He's just saying whatever fucking comes to his brain. And most of it's just not right. So I don't know if he's logical, but I think he's definitely calculated. I think he's definitely paid. Again, I don't know that. That's me making an assumption. Maybe that assumption is not logical either. So maybe I'm doing the same fucking thing. But it is what it is, I guess.
Believe that there will be peace. The result of that peace is the building of the temple. The temple is not a cause for another war. So get your facts right.
Straight up.
Think clearly and think twice. And then you can be of service to the world.
That should be a slogan. Think clearly, get your facts right, think twice. Then, and only then, can you be of service to the world.
Then you can be a real influencer without celebrityhood twisting the logic. If you enjoyed this
thank you, Rabbi. Thank you very much.